I don't know what happened here on this one. I like the type to be cleaner, by the way, and you'll see other versions of type here where you'll see that it's gotten cleaner. But there's something where it's, I don't know, there's a gray tone behind part of this, and then from here over it's been erased or something has changed. Continuity is important you're doing one complete piece, so that'd be something to be careful of. Put a tone in there, don't put a tone in there. Put a shadow in there, don't put a shadow. Figure out something. That old, chickens on the fence kind of thing. I have a lot of barnyard analogies I can use only because I have a barnyard. So I've seen the chicken on the fence. It has to make a decision sooner or later. It's going to get in this pen or it's going to get in that pen. It just can't stay there forever. It doesn't work. So, and with art, always make that leap of faith. You're trying to look at the effort, by the way, in all of these, and you're trying, the people that look at your work, they take it for face value. The professionals that look at your work, they know when they're seeing something that shows that magnificent amount of effort or time or, study. And of course, that's what you're trying to do. Trying to do that for me as well as for, most importantly, for you and the people that are going to hire you. Okay, so that's something that's a personal thing. This project's difficult. I think the arms are probably the arms themselves, including with the hand. That's probably one of the easier assignments you're going to do. Mainly because the arms tend to be long, lanky things, and just dealing with just that little bit of a problem. They were for me. Drawing the arms were relatively simple and easy. The hardest one is just beyond that, which is the entire torso, where we have the pelvis and the spine and the rib cage, all as one unit. That tends to be that one was originally in my, for a long time, was originally your first assignment in the quarter. And I changed it around just a little bit so that I could ease you into that problem. It still makes sense for it to be first because everything joins into the trunk. It all goes into that one unit, so it is logical, and that's why I talked about it to begin with last week, was the torso, because that's the logical beginning. I commend you on this typography only because it's too difficult to do. Years ago, I don't know where he is now. He should be about to graduate. A guy named Sergio, who was a graphic design student that swung over. He liked drawing. I had him in a drawing and perspective class, and I don't normally try to coerce people into getting into different programs, but he was going to be in graphic design, and he really did some incredible work for me in drawing and perspective. And I thought, with this ability and skill that he has, he should do something where he'd actually get to exercise those skills a little more. In animation, you would. And so I showed him some stuff in 3D Studio Max. I showed him some of the computers upstairs, and I said, would this be cooler to do than to just do brochures and type things and stuff like that? He goes, yeah, that'd be cool. And my reason for it is he would do he ended up, he got into the animation program, took this class, and then he would do some incredible work with typography. And you go, how the hell? First of all, I couldn't identify the font. I couldn't figure out where he got that from. And then how much time it took. And the answer to this question, of course, is there was no font for it because he just made it up. And then I'd say, well, how long did it take you to do that? He goes, oh, about a half hour. I wanted to get the lobotomy out and make myself feel better for seeing what he could do with his hand and do great typography. Because my handwriting sucks. I told you to trace it and everything, and the reason possibly being is my handwriting is so bad. I have two doctors in the family, and so probably it's part that. Doctors suppose they can't write. And my handwriting's so bad, I do have to trace everything. And it at the very least, it helps me with the spelling. As I said, this project's quite nice. It might be overly rich, but that's okay. This one is nice. Look at the type is very simple here. The callouts work. I think the clarity of the drawing could be a little bit better on this one. There's a bit of a difference between this one and, say, some of these others. And so this one might stand to be a little clearer. The carpal bones are a little difficult to define and may even appear to be too big for that particular area. And I said it before that sometimes you look at things especially little itty bitty things in details when we look at the books. And proportions get off sometimes because we get closer to them. You know, the famous problem is we draw faces quite often and eyes get too big sometimes. But eyes are so important in a drawing that you look closer at them. You know, I'm drawing something and I just look at it closer. And because you get closer, they look bigger and you draw what you see. You know, so some of that may be coming into play. So this is quite nice. Design-wise, it works. Well, once again, maybe there should be, could be a little bit more clarification to the drawing itself. And that's something that, I tell you about it, and you try to put it into the next one, and then we move on from there. This one's quite nice. It stands. Can you see that? It's way down here, but can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because it's got a lot of power. It's got a lot of strength. As I said, I always pick type like that because it's easier to do for me. You don't have to be overly flourishy. Always be competent. Do the job well. Do it right. Do it very cleanly, and that's going to get you work. It's one of the few little skills that the teachers that I had that told me I was too slow. I had 2 teachers, by the way, tell me I was too slow in doing art. 2 separate individuals that said, "Oh, this is we like having you around, Kevin, but I don't know about doing it for a living," kind of thing. The black paper is quite interesting, and also has good contrast and stands out. There is one problem with black paper on occasion and it's sort of doing this. It's a real hard thing to define. Sometimes we work on black paper and we actually draw what ends up looking more like a negative, where everything that we would see as shadow becomes white because we're used to drawing with the white material, or with the black material on white paper. And so the individual there might well have taken what might be shadowed areas or something like that and made them whiter. The trick when you work on black paper is to think in reverse. I'm actually going to draw what I see, which is, well, there are certain parts of the face are highlighted. So they're light, and certain places are in shadows, so they're in shadow. Same with the hands and the bones, of course. And so that's something to just keep in mind. I can show some examples of the figure drawings that I've done with white material on black paper. And you can kind of understand a little bit more of that, because it actually looks like the person's supposed to look because it has white where it belongs and shadow where it belongs, kind of thing. But it's still very exciting, isn't it? I like black paper. I think it's very graphically pleasing to look at. I find it very interesting and of course has a lot of power when we see it in our portfolios.